What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Thomas spies Brooke in Ridge's arms. Luna's pregnancy test result. The Bold and the Beautiful reveals that Thomas Forrester spied Brooke Logan in Ridge Forrester's arms, while Luna Nozawa learned her pregnancy test outcome. At Forrester Creations, Brooke pointed out that Ridge still hadn't broken things off with Taylor Hayes and asked how long she was supposed to wait. Brooke also admitted she wanted Nick Marone to make Ridge jealous so that he'd come back to her. Brooke persuaded Ridge to keep his word and informed Taylor that their engagement was over because he had promised to make things right following the events in Italy. Ridge was concerned about hurting Taylor and his family, but Brooke advised him that the situation would get worse the longer he waited. Brooke gave Ridge a warm embrace after she acknowledged that they couldn't live without each other. On Tuesday's BNB episode, Taylor was delighted to see her son when Thomas surprised her in her office. Taylor asked about Douglas Forrester, but Thomas explained that he was having a last blast of summer with his friends in France. Thomas admired Taylor's ring now that it was back on her finger and listened to her gush about being together with Ridge forever. After some talk about the wedding, Thomas voiced concerns about Brooke trying to draw Ridge closer again. When she was by herself, Taylor recalled happy romantic moments and reassured Thomas that Ridge's priorities had changed. Back at Forrester Creations, Thomas arrived at the CEO office and peeked in at Brooke in Ridge's arms. After Thomas announced himself, he wondered what was going on. Brooke made herself scarce, which gave Thomas a chance to complain to Ridge about the embrace he witnessed. The closer Ridge and Taylor got to their wedding, the more desperate Brooke was going to become. At least that's how Thomas felt about the situation. Thomas sought confirmation that Ridge wasn't going to break Taylor's heart and that their marriage was still happening. At the Forrester guesthouse, Will Spencer woke Electra Forrester up with a rose and spent the morning doting on her. Electra was elated over their incredible night together and was glad she waited for the right guy. Will assured Electra that he loved her so much and added that she was the only girl for him. After flashing back to the masked mystery woman, Will kissed Electra and looked pensive. At Lee Finnegan's place, a delivery guy had a small bag when he showed up. Disguised Luna quickly answered the door and shut it again after snatching the bag. Lee was curious about the bag's contents, but Luna said she just ordered a few things online and claimed it was no biggie. When Lee pushed for more updates, Luna got irritated and said to just leave her alone. Lee warned that she wouldn't let Luna talk to her that way, so Luna tried to smooth things over. However, Luna eventually kept saying things to raise Lee's suspicions. Lee wondered if Luna went to see John Finn Finnegan the last time she decided to sneak out. Luna denied stalking Finn and assured Lee that she wouldn't screw up her second chance. After Lee left the room to take a phone call, Luna pulled a pregnancy test out of the bag that was delivered. Later, Luna looked at the pregnancy test results and smirked like she'd gotten the positive outcome she wanted. According to the Bold and the Beautiful, Luna has more tricks up her sleeve, so Will undoubtedly face a lot of shocking news and additional mishaps. Thomas demands answers after spying Brooke in Ridge's arms, and Luna takes a pregnancy test. In the Bold and the Beautiful, Thomas surprises himself by coming home, Luna is lectured by Lee, and Ridge is persuaded by Brooke to dump Taylor. In Forrester's main office, Brooke teases Ridge about the splash she made in Italy. He asks her not to joke about the rescue, and she breathes, "That was pretty amazing." Taking stock, she points out he still hasn't broken his engagement to Taylor. How long is she supposed to wait? Brooke admits she liked the attention from Nick, but confesses she was trying to make Ridge jealous so he'd come back to her. Nick knew that, which is why he left. Taylor, meanwhile, is planning a wedding. Is Brooke being a fool? She deserves to know. Pressing her point, Brooke reminds Ridge he promised to make things right after what happened in Italy. So are we going to spend the rest of our lives together? Or will our romance come to an end? She urges him to do something. Who is Taylor's surprise visitor? In her office, Taylor is thrilled by a surprise visit from Thomas. They embrace. Taylor inquires about Douglas's presence. Thomas says he's enjoying the last blast of summer with his friends overseas. They discuss her engagement to his father and her love for him. Taylor says that they will get married and stay together forever. Taylor complains to Thomas that Eric is still supporting Brooke's cause, despite her and Ridge living on his property. Switching gears, they discuss Steffi, who will be back for the wedding. Thomas marvels at his parents being back together at long last. After they're married, Brooke will never interfere again, sure, Jan. Thomas fishes to find out if Brooke is stirring the pot. Taylor shrugs that she thinks she's fighting for what she wants. Ridge doesn't want to hurt her, but he's back with her where he should be. Thomas states the obvious, saying Taylor's been left heartbroken before. This time's different, right? As always optimistic, Tay insists that it will be. What's Luna up to now? Waking up in the Forrester guest house, Electra and will tell each other how incredible last night was and kiss. They cuddle, coo, and kiss until Electra reminds him they have to go to work. Another make-out sesh begins. Luna takes a small bag delivery in disguise at Lee's house. Her aunt/grandmother appears and asks, "What's in the bag?" Luna asks her to leave her alone. Lee, as one would expect, fumes about her speaking to her that way and warns she's playing a dangerous game if someone finds out she's alive. Lee lectures about Luna sneaking out and says she's lucky. Luna quirks, "You've no idea how lucky." Lee wants to know what she means. Is she stalking Finn? Luna says she's not and placates Lee by telling her she's grateful she's speaking to attorneys. She assures her she's good at keeping secrets. "I will not be returning to prison." Lee harps about Luna's cockiness until her phone rings. She has to take the call and steps out. Luna pounces on the mystery bag, which, of course, contains a pregnancy test. What will Thomas see? In the main office, Brooke and Ridge are still at it. He does not want to harm Taylor or his children once more. Brooke complains that he caused this to himself and must now fix it. He needs to go tell Taylor he made a mistake. She declares that they cannot live without each other, and Thomas watches and listens as they embrace. Revealing himself, Thomas wants to know what he's walked in on. As this unfolds, Taylor is mooning over memories of Ridge like a teenager across town. Brooke welcomes Thomas home and leaves him and Ridge alone. Ridge learns that Douglas is still in France and that he's seen his mom, who is excited about getting married, only he walked in and saw Brooke in his arms. He warns that Brooke will become more desperate as the wedding nears. He needs his father's confirmation that the marriage is still going on. The final scenes. In the Forrester guest house, Will ignores a notification on his phone in favor of expressing his love to Electra again. As she settles in on his chest, he flashes to the mystery sex after his party and frets internally. At Lee's place, Luna checks the pregnancy test results. The Bold and the Beautiful intricately intertwines its narrative of love, betrayal, and hidden truths as Thomas Forrester observes Brooke Logan in the embrace of Ridge Forrester. Meanwhile, across the city, Luna Nozawa discovers the outcome of her pregnancy test, and these parallel storylines converge, threatening to disrupt the lives of every Forrester, Logan, Spencer, and Finnegan involved. This begins in the radiant halls of Forrester Creations, where Brooke confronts Ridge in the CEO's office, pressing him on a matter she has been quietly yet obsessively nurturing in her heart since that pivotal rescue in Italy. She reminds him that he has yet to sever ties with Taylor Hayes, despite his solemn vow to clarify the situation and prevent another web of deceit from ruining their lives. Although Ridge reacts defensively to the accusation, asserting that he cannot bear to hurt Taylor again or disrupt the fragile sense of security she clings to, Brooke, with fire in her eyes, reminds him that each day he postpones is another day Taylor envisions her future wedding with a man whose heart is already claimed by another. To emphasize her point, she candidly admits to having attempted to use Nick Marone to incite jealousy in Ridge, a strategy she claims failed because Ridge's heart was already aware of its true desire. When she fervently declares that they cannot exist without one another, Ridge is engulfed by the familiar allure, the magnetic pull that has characterized decades of their history, and he pulls her into a warm embrace, oblivious to the fact that his son Thomas has just returned to town and is standing outside the slightly ajar doorway, his keen eyes capturing the intimate scene. His heart races as the scene validates every suspicion he has held that Brooke will never genuinely give up her claim. On Ridge. When he finally steps in and clears his throat, Brooke hastily makes an excuse to leave, providing Thomas the opportunity to confront Ridge for indulging Brooke's affections while his mother is at home, excitedly discussing forever, wearing her engagement ring, and planning a wedding she believes is fated. Thomas voices the painful question: will Ridge once again shatter Taylor's heart, and is their marriage even going to materialize? And Ridge, caught in a web of guilt, desire, and paternal duty, can only offer feeble reassurances that hold little weight for a son who has spent his entire life witnessing this triangle spiral out of control. Meanwhile, across town at Taylor's office, she joyfully embraces her son, informing him that Douglas is completing his summer in France, marveling at how her ring sparkles anew on her finger, and reminiscing about the love story she believes has finally reached its conclusion. Yet, Thomas's expression reveals doubt, as he is aware of what he just witnessed at Forrester Creations, and he struggles to reconcile the mother who radiates joy over Ridge's steadfast commitment with the father who still succumbs to Brooke's embrace. However, if Thomas's doubts cast a shadow over Taylor's aspirations, it pales in comparison to the tempest brewing in the quiet confines of Lee Finnegan's home, where Luna Nozawa paces anxiously until a delivery arrives, a plain small bag that she swiftly snatches from the doorstep while disguised, dismissing Lee's probing inquiries with an irritated assertion that it is merely online shopping. Yet, her jittery tone and defensive stance only intensify Lee's suspicions that her niece is once again engaging in reckless behavior. When Lee sternly reminds her that she cannot afford to be careless and cannot risk exposure after being granted a second chance at freedom, Luna placates her with insincere promises.